Putin is preparing to block the departure of Russians from the occupied Crimea. Now, this is information that is coming in from the Ukrainian intelligence as Russia prepares to block Russians, and that too from occupied Crimea. Several Russians who are trying to flee from Crimea, but Russia is blocking them, and this is a claim that Ukraine is making at this point as the war has now entered into its fourth week, and clearly no side backing out. But of the many developments, this is the latest that is coming in as Ukraine continues to put up stiff resistance. Ukraine is now claiming that Putin is blocking Russians in Crimea. Russia has occupied Crimea and Putin is blocking the departure of Russians from Crimea, is what the Ukrainian intelligence is claiming. Patikrit Plain is with us on the broadcast. Patikrit, what is your opinion of Russia's strategy as far as this particular move is concerned?
There's a disinformation war going on simultaneously in addition to the real physical war that is going on. So it's very difficult to judge and find out which side is actually speaking the truth. We have to remember that in 2014, Crimea actually, through a referendum, voted to be, on the side of Russia, and they actually seceded from Ukraine. And there is, I don't think there is any bombing right now going on in Crimea. So whether the Crimeans are actually leaving or there is some kind of a confusion being created, that is a matter of investigation. I cannot actually judge it from here. But frankly speaking, the war is literally heading towards a stalemate. Even though the Russians have the upper hand because the destruction is all happening within Ukraine, still they haven't been able to achieve what they had achieved, what they had planned to achieve initially. It's taking far more time for the Ukrainians. It is true that they are actually putting up a stiff resistance, but it is a fiery war for them. A fiery war means a war where even if they are not losing, but they are not losing at a heavy cost. All the cities are getting devastated. So much as the devastation will continue, there will be this disinformation war which will continue at the same time. It will be very difficult to judge what the reality is. The West is also trying to project that the Ukrainians are at times having the upper hand. It is very unlikely that it will happen like that because the Ukrainians are simply no match. The more worrying factor right now is that what happens to the civilians. It is not just the civilians of Crimea. Across the spectrum of Ukraine, I don't think anywhere the civilians are any more safe because the devastation is reaching a level of annihilation of city after city. Now that the Russians are using supersonic bombers and hypersonic missiles against which the American supplied or British supplied anti-tank or anti-missiles, anti-aircraft missile systems like Stinger or Javelin will be of no use. So the bigger picture really is that 28 days is about to get completed by tomorrow. Yes. And the war is heading to a situation where in spite of the sanctions, the Russians have only increased the offensive, and we might have a very sorry picture coming up in the near future with more casualties, more civilian problems, and Ukraine is actually looking at a brink. There is no solution as of yet through the war. If the Ukrainians actually somehow do a negotiation, then only something can happen. But otherwise, it is a dead end for the Ukraine as a country.
All right, Patika, thank you for the analysis, and a lot of videos that Republic has been able to access. We put out those as in an attempt to retaliate. The armed forces of Ukraine continue to dispose Russian equipment. The location of this explosion has not been disclosed as of now.